It's called Advanced Answering Techniques. So it is three professional people explaining to other people how to answer different questions, a multiple variety of questions. Advanced Answering Techniques.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Answering Techniques. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Josh, and this is a podcast where we answer questions that listeners send us. We try to do so in an effective, definitive, comprehensive manner. I'd like to introduce you to one of the other co-hosts. His name is Caleb. Caleb, we're trying to move pretty quick here. We have two questions we're trying to get through today from Jason.
Jordan.
Justin.
Right. And but I do want to just ask a quick question of you. Old crone in the woods, offer you some soup. Do you eat some?
Yes.
And why? And just kind of your basic process for deciding to do that.
I'm trying to be more adventurous. Specifically with soup.
Gabe, old crone in a culvert, offers you 3 gray rocks. Do you eat some?
You got it, Gabe.
I don't think I can.
Yeah.
Do they present as rocks? She offers a handful of...
She's like,
No, they don't present as rocks.
Well, I
Gabe.
don't know. She's a crone.
She offers you 3 rocks, and they don't look anything like rocks.
Okay, but... Maybe, sometimes you're like, okay, that's a rock, and then you look closer, and it's like one of those little candy rocks.
No,
like
these are,
or
she's...
chocolate
whatever else she may be, she's honest.
She
These
does
are-
do-
So
these
she
are-
says, these are
kinda
rocks. Do you want some?
What do you-
And my answer is no.
Well, she doesn't say, do you want to eat some?
Oh,
She's just here are the rocks. So the
Yeah.
question is, do you eat them?
She
No, I don't
proves that
think
they're
so.
rocks by cracking one in half.
Right.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's...
And then she throws that one away, and then she gets
It's
another
another
one.
Oh, okay.
And you see where she gets it from, and it's
Okay.
a bucket that says rocks
Yeah,
on it.
rocks.
Okay.
So-
Okay. So it's pretty clear that they're rocks.
Yeah.
Does it look easy for her to crack the rocks? in
Yeah.
half?
No. She seems very strong.
Okay. So I'm going to assume that I don't even have Crohn's strength.
Have you
in my
seen She-Hulk?
teeth. Yeah. Twice.
Okay.
Time to get into it, guys. The question that we do actually have a couple of Spotify comments. We've been getting Spotify comments. We appreciate them.
Nice.
Thank you.
There's a real, sort of dialogue that's going on. Lots of discussion kind of breaking out on Spotify. So feel free to jump in and
We're
add
going to
your comments there.
spotlightify these comments.
They're getting a little bit of a spotlight.
Spotlightified.
Spotlightify in the future. The segment will be Spotlightify. Well, this one is from Joy. She says, "Great episode." Thanks, Joy.
Thank you, Joy.
Oh, wow.
Even though somebody wasn't there,
We don't have to get into it right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought I didn't like that part of the question. I didn't like
The
or
question.
the comment.
Yeah,
rather.
yeah.
The comment. I didn't like that Caleb was absent on an episode and Joy said, "Great episode." I didn't like it.
Well, he was there. He had
yeah.
a very great contribution.
A beautiful contribution that we
Yeah.
loved. And she says, "I asked Stephen before he listened to this. This was the episode that had a section on attractive presidents.
Yes.
Who the most attractive president was. And without pause, he said it had to be George Washington." And she says, "What? Is this a guy thing?"
It's a 3-guy thing at least.
3 guys are...
Pretty united on this.
And I do think that it could have to do kind of with the education system and basically which presidents we can remember well.
That's part of it for sure.
I think
Andrew Jackson's the most handsome president.
he's a good looking.
Not a good man. Not a good president.
but good looking. But again, a baddie,
Oh, yeah.
true baddie.
Not a goodie, but a baddie.
Then Julie has this comment. "I think George Washington is a go-to answer because it's safe." Shots fired.
Whoa.
JFK.
Does she say shots fired? Or
She does
you,
not.
Oh,
I'm
is
saying
it?
shot. That's
Okay.
my comment.
And then you say JFK.
JFK. This is the continuation
Shots
of her
fired.
question.
Yeah. 3 shots fired.
Right. From a single gunman, really, really quickly.
Yeah.
With a bolt-action rifle.
Right.
And a magic
just
bullet.
Not possible.
Yeah.
JFK was the most handsome. All the rest were uggos.
That is, I actually,
Again.
I like this take. JFK does have sort of, he's simultaneously like the most traditionally handsome, but also he has like a kind of a weird asymmetry to his face, if I remember correctly.
He's the result of like inbreeding. Like he is not handsome. What makes him handsome is his character. His
Interesting. His manner.
Yeah, his manner is what then transfer. Like if you saw JFK, a man with JFK's face, which I have seen.
I saw a man with JFK's face.
Just in a box.
And he was like a beggar.
Uh-huh.
I don't think you're not thinking this guy is handsome.
On the other hand, Andrew Jackson, beggar face.
Oh, you're like, how did this guy get to be a beggar?
He should be president.
I think there's something to that. He has, even though he's not strictly speaking WASP, right? He's Catholic.
Sure.
He has an easy Northeast waspy manner.
Wask.
Yeah. There you go. Wask. He's a wask.
He's a wask. So Caleb, you're saying Andrew Jackson baddie, JFK not baddie.
Yeah, well, baddie in his manner.
Okay. Baddie in manner. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just can't be bothered. It's my day off.
It's we're recording this on Memorial Day, so it is our day off.
I do want to clarify, like, I don't think JFK was a good man in all facets.
Sure.
That's a good
his public persona was winsome.
Yeah.
The political stances he took, I think, were pretty good.
Yes.
Mostly.
Trying to do what he could to interfere with the deep state and the growing intelligence community.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, these were good moves, and it's why he had to die.
Yeah. Ultimately, and we understand that.
That's why Felix Rodriguez shot him in the head.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get right into it. We've got 2 questions from Jason, and we just need to go ahead and answer those questions. So here's Jason.
Hey, fellas. I've got a doozy for you guys. I have finally gotten a job. Well, okay, let me back this up. I'm working at a coffee roastery, roasting coffee, and have been trying to start my own small business doing design work. And it's been a long time coming, but I finally just landed a contract that's going to be able to financially support me and allow me to drop the work at the roastery. So I thought it would be pretty cute of me to put in my 2-week notice and not tell my wife, but to wait those 2 weeks and do a weekend surprise. So I got an Airbnb out in a fun little location, and so I'm just going to spring it on her the weekend after my last day at the coffee roaster that, hey, by the way, I was able to put in my 2-week notice. We have this new job, and we're going to go celebrate this weekend. Surprise! So I'm doing that. I am 3 days in, and I've almost given it away multiple times that
God bless you.
That I quit my job. Anyways, I ran this idea that I was really excited by my parents that this is what I was doing. Please don't tell my wife. And they both think it's a horrible idea. They think I should tell my wife now, and that she is not going to like the fact that I have this good news and didn't tell her. I think it's cute and fun. They think it's reckless and I would just love your guys' opinion. So I guess my question is this a good idea? And I guess you guys are pretty slow at getting these questions. So, and that's not that came off ruder than I wanted it to. But what I mean is this will be past tense by the time you guys respond. So was this a good idea? Have I ruined my marriage? Is my wife filing for divorce? Thanks, guys. I always appreciate.
Thank you, Jordan. Guys, what is your initial reaction to Justin's question? Justin's question.
It's a great question, and yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny that he said that our pace of getting questions, returning them to the askers was really slow.
We are trying to.
That's part of this effort,
deal with
right?
this a little bit. Mm-hmm. We'd like the turnaround to be a little tighter. So if we do have questions stack up from individuals, we're going to try to do them.
Yeah, and he said that when he said you guys are slow at getting these back.
Yeah,
and he said that came off as ruder. Than I meant it to. So he did mean it to be a little bit rude, maybe.
Yeah.
He also said that he booked a weekend surprise Airbnb in a fun little location, and that's completely appropriate for his size. Yep. It would have to be very small.
Yep.
I guess because he's so small, any sized location could contain him. But it's maybe more comfortable if it is a fun little location.
I think so. For coziness, you don't want to be like in a cavernous, place with 20-foot ceilings,
right?
And
you
want something more in the kind of 4 to 6 foot ceiling range.
Yeah. I do think also the other kind of the main takeaway that I have from this is that Justin, he said that he was worried about giving it away, giving away the surprise. He's viewing it as just a surprise, but it is instructive that that's how he's viewing it, because what it actually is that you've made a pretty significant life decision for your family without consulting your wife,
right?
And that, I think once you put it in those terms, stops being like a fun little surprise that you might give away. And become something that your parents are concerned about.
Right.
Yeah.
I love this dynamic, by the way. I love thinking about Justin telling his parents this and his parents being like, this is horrible.
This is unkind.
This is the kind of thing that I wouldn't tell my parents because I already know what they will say. I'm curious about his definition of cute.
That's a good point.
Action is cute.
This is cute.
And I guess it gets into this whole thing where the people who arrange surprises are typically people who like surprises themselves.
Right.
And the people that they arrange surprises for are potentially not into surprises.
Yes.
You don't know.
This is always a constant thing, is people who want surprises make surprises for other people.
Yep.
And those other people don't really want them. But the other people don't ever arrange surprises for other people because they don't want them. When the other person wants to be surprised, I think that what's happening here is Justin is saying, hey, wife, I want a surprise.
Yeah.
That's a good way to take it. There is a real potential, as somebody who has occasionally thought it would be fun to surprise my wife, and then learned that that's actually not fun. And one time we threw her a surprise birthday party, and there were people hiding in another room, and we were kind of trying to slowly spring it on her. So she stood and talked for a while with the hosts in a different room that was directly adjoined with no door between them. So her conversation was being observed by a group of people, and so eventually we kind of eased her out of that conversation and into the room. We surprised her, and she was very unhappy. And she pretended briefly that this was okay, and then she just kind of stared sullenly, and it was not fun. And it took her a while to eventually things kind of, were were taken care of. But I think she was just thinking, what did I say? Everyone was listening to me for a long time. What did I say?
Right.
It was not.
It's a little
she didn't
unnerving.
appreciate it. And then later, when what I've taken to doing, if I want to do something like a surprise, one time because of my many failures as a husband, did not organize a birthday party for her until about 6 months later, and
For a milestone birthday.
for a
It has
milestone
to be said.
birthday. And so then, in the middle of the summer, she's a January birthday, and in the summer we had a party. I thought about this, and I thought, okay, if I tell her today and she has time to get used to the idea, that's still kind of a surprise,
Yeah.
right? And so that's how we handled it. Is we broke the news to her, and she was able to be prepared, put on clothes that so she wasn't just kind of didn't have it.
This is
sprung
an
on her.
important. That was my experience. My mom threw a surprise. Our mom actually.
Yeah.
She threw a surprise party for me when I turned 16, and how they got me out of the house to prepare for the party was my dad and my younger brothers. We went to see the Book of Eli, and which was not really a movie I had any expectations for. Loved it. Was great. Really enjoyed it. And I came home, and I remember before I left for the movie, I thought, oh man, I really should have taken a shower today. You're in 16, you're kind of in that zone where you don't, maybe the hygiene thing is not a routine. I don't know. Maybe that was just me when I was 16.
No. It's like it hasn't been a problem, and now it's starting to be a problem. So now you have to change your behavior.
You actually have to address it. I hadn't learned that yet. And then I came home from the movie, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to go take a shower. And then I walk up, and there's a bunch of my friends, including the girl that I had a big crush on in high school. And that was not a very fun surprise. I do appreciate that my mom put this party together for me.
Right.
It ended up
But
being
I think
good.
the best surprises are things given not like events or parties.
Right.
Sure.
For this very reason. Unless you can coax someone into like, we're going out, so look your best.
There you go.
And then they go to a party or something like that, right? But like for your wife, I think probably the best surprises are like things like a food she likes.
Yeah.
That she can eat out of public view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have some kind of small booth that's fully contained, nobody can see into it.
Yeah.
And you can kind of put a tub of her favorite food in
Do
there.
you mean like putting like having your wife go into the bedroom and closing the door and then driving out to get like pho, bringing it home, and then sort of like sliding it through the door like a prison cell?
I was just meaning
like happy birthday.
I was just meaning like now you can just enjoy this, and you don't even have to think about people looking at you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Enjoying it,
Yeah.
right? Like that's part of the bummer about eating in public is you have to think about everyone looking at you eat.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at
Everyone's watching you the whole time.
So that's part of the fun there is the surprise or flowers or something that is just given and there's no expectation from them.
Right.
Right? It's just a surprise that's
Which
given.
Actually, this might kind of do that.
Yeah.
She's not being put on the spot particularly.
Where?
In
but she has to think about how he made this huge decision without her.
But
that's definitely. I'm not saying that
their lives are going to fundamentally shift, probably for the better. It sounds like it. By the way, congratulations,
Jason.
It's a huge accomplishment, Jordan.
And so that's awesome. So excited for you. Hope it goes really well.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, then your wife will remember
or if it didn't
go well. I'm saying like the future for your career. Right. If this is a really bad decision,
right,
then your wife will just have to think about how you didn't get her in on the decision.
And if you're worried about this decision and her opinion of it, like it sounds like you're very committed. It sounds like even after advice from his parents, he's sticking to his guns.
Yeah.
He's gonna do the surprise. maybe what you do is you add an additional surprise on top of it. Maybe one that's an even bigger decision, so that your initial big decision doesn't seem as rash or crazy.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you have something in mind
Oh,
specifically?
I mean, I would just think, go buy a house.
Right.
Yeah.
Go buy a house. Let her know she's pregnant.
Adopt a child. Yeah, or that. Yeah. Somehow let's not talk about all that. But yeah,
Not on the
something like
podcast,
that.
at
Yeah,
least.
not on the
Yeah.
podcast. But I think there's something there. And look, we may be over maybe this is something they've talked about, that they've planned on, that he knows her position on already. Maybe it's not such a huge thing that it's like, it's
That's
the thing
a really
that
good point.
The thing that we've talked about happening has happened.
Yeah.
And so we're getting to this new part of life. So maybe it's not so egregious, but it is something that she's like, potentially your wife is kind of concerned about the future with you. and
your parents have been
weeks,
observing this.
And this could have been 2 weeks that she could have been feeling good.
Right.
And she wasn't.
And you've robbed her.
And now she gets to feel 2 weeks worth of like anxiety and worry in a moment.
Yeah.
And she has to experience it, and it's compressed. And then you are going to go spend the weekend alone with her, just the two of you.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is, this will hopefully have just been worked out.
Again.
Really, you kind of put it into a pressure cooker situation.
You can be in a situation unobserved where she can kill you, deal with your body, kind of all of that.
Have a nice meal afterwards.
Out of public view.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's all happening in a fun little location.
A cute little, fun, cute spot. It's a cute thing to do in a cute place.
Yep.
Thanks so much for the question, Jordan. So let's get to the next question from Jason here. 1 second. Can you guys just fill some space
we can
for
vamp.
just a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
never mind.
Okay. Just going to say,
do you need us still? Or?
I helped make a surprise for you, but you've never made a surprise for me. So
here's the question.
Hey guys, I've got a question for you. I don't know, that hit my tickle bone. Guys, my question is, if you could do so you've got 4 hours to prepare for a TED Talk, what would the subject be on, each of you? So you've got a TED Talk coming up. They say, we want you to do a TED Talk. We'll give you 4 hours to get your sources ready to make your presentation happen. What would your presentation be on?
We have each of us 4 hours to
great.
prepare for a TED Talk, and we have to figure out a subject. So I loved Justin's initial laugh there. That was so completely authentic. I enjoyed that.
I thought it was a great question, and I mean, there are a few topics that jump to mind. Do you have?
Oh yeah,
something?
I mean, I have something, but
Okay.
I'll let you guys go first to see if we overlap.
If we
If there's any
overlap at all.
overlap,
Yeah.
I had two thoughts, and I think the second one is So I'll just share the first one. But basically, I first thought of pizza. I could talk about pizza, and I could do that. I feel like I could frame it with
That is really good for you.
like here's I would have like a thesis behind it. I would think I would sort of shape it around how to best how to open and run, and this is without getting into this specifics, too many logistic things.
Business
Exactly.
acumen, things that require
what
ethos.
you don't have to. I'm not going to talk about forms that you have to fill out or anything like that. Right. But yes, the ethos. What is the ideal pizza shop experience? How do we accomplish this in sort of some of the vibe things, but also a few of the practical elements, what kind of ovens to use and those sorts of things. But then I thought I actually wouldn't need 4 hours to prepare for that. I could add some more logistical considerations in. At
Where
that
you
point.
actually did need to do some quick Google searches
Yeah.
and say, what do I need to submit to the city to incorporate?
Do I
my
need to tell the
business?
federal government that I'm going to be a pizziolo or however they say it?
The question, just to
Pizziolo.
clarify, the question isn't you must use all 4 hours.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
that you have 4 hours.
I know,
Yes.
but this
to
is
prepare.
yeah. So I think that would be a really good
I would
talk,
spend
and
if
I
you
think I
only
could
need
get there.
2 hours and just kind of hang out for 2 hours.
The other
Yeah.
topic that I could cover is
Eat a pizza. I would say make and eat a pizza
in
your-
4
your
hours.
downtime.
See, I don't
In
know.
your-
That's not going to be that much time to let the dough proof and everything. So might not be very good pizza. But at any rate,
Yeah.
the second
Point taken, by
subject that I was considering, and I think would probably be my choice, is barefoot shoes.
the way.
Because I wear barefoot shoes, and they're really good for me because I have big, huge, honking wide feet
Yep.
that are mountainous, and that's an actual technical term for the type of foot that I have. And they're high volume.
High volume is, Yep.
But I also don't know that much about the technical side of it, but I feel like I could get a pretty good grasp in 4 hours.
4 hours pretty quick.
Oh yeah,
So
especially
I-
if you're wearing barefoot shoes, you have more agility.
Yeah,
with your
exactly.
toes.
More
You can
dexterity.
grasp more than just things with your
Yeah.
more. You can grasp things with your feet.
With
Is what
your
I'm
feet.
saying.
Exactly.
You can
Yeah.
climb the tree of the subject really
Yes.
quickly and easily.
in my barefoot shoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would probably be my pick. Would be barefoot shoes, and also it's a situation where people have, I don't know, been admitted to this event and are theoretically not going to get up and leave when they hear you start talking about barefoot shoes. So you'd have something of a captive audience for maybe a half hour.
Yeah.
Because I start talking about barefoot shoes with anyone who's not like wearing barefoot shoes, and they're like, I do not care
Yeah.
about. It's the sort of thing that you just don't care about until you try it out.
That's right.
So
yeah.
It is, and I'm also probably less like technically aware of barefoot shoe stuff than you are, Gabe. But I do wear barefoot shoes, and I believe in them very deeply.
I believe in my shoes.
I believe in my shoes very deeply, and I think that people don't like to hear anyone talk about barefoot shoes. I tried to talk about it the other night, and nobody was interested. Everyone hated it.
Yeah.
So this is a situation where at least there's some kind of social contract made that we will sit and listen to your
Absolutely.
lecture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is important.
You start the barefoot shoe TED Talk, and there are people who are like, okay, this is the bathroom break talk. So there will be a certain percentage standing up
Right.
to go use the restroom
Right.
and, take their time, look at a pamphlet
Right.
that's in the lobby.
Right.
I don't know where this is happening.
Yeah, but they're also looking down sort of the little bulletin like flyer
The program.
order, the program.
Yeah.
Thank you, the order of events there, and they see oh there is Caleb's. So they're not
Exactly.
going to leave.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, maybe,
Caleb's
Caleb's following
gonna
up
be
with-
I can. Yeah. So the
on
first.
deck. Oh no! I didn't want
Right
you to go
now?
now. I want to go now
Josh is
because
going.
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
my turn.
Okay, so it's Josh is up.
Yeah.
Right
But
now, right now.
eventually
But
Caleb
that-
will be up.
But actually, I would have already gone, and then
Oh, I
it
see.
would be Gabe and then you.
Okay.
That's just the way that they worked it out logistically on the program.
Well, not much we can do about that now.
I would probably do it on pretending to be smart, like how to pretend to be smart.
It's a great topic for you.
I think it would be really ideal for me is the things that you as sort of a sub 70 IQ person can do that will show other people that you're pretending to be smart. What I don't mean is that you're fooling people and actually succeeding in making other people think that you're smart.
Okay.
Just that you can go around in the world and pretend.
This is one method of approaching this.
This is one method of approaching this. Why do you need, if you're not going to fool anybody, if you're kind of aware of that, because that is for somebody with kind of a Forrest Gump level IQ, you're not going to be able to actually, like that takes a level of craft and wit that you're not capable of at all.
Yeah.
But for some reason, there's something inside of you that thinks, I would like to pretend to be smart.
And honestly, for Forrest Gump in particular, all you'd have to do is just have him change one thing that he says. You just have him say, I am a smart man.
Yes, that's right. Just leave out the negative there.
I am a smart man, and I know what love is. Like that would be it.
What is it? Does he say?
He says, I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
So the real actual inverse would be, I am a smart man, and I do not know what love is.
I just meant an adjustment.
To
the quote.
Not a. It
But
doesn't
that would
have
be
to
kind
be
of
an
a smart.
inversion.
That would be kind of a smart thing to say. Is like, I don't know what love is.
Yeah.
Because like you
Now you need to teach Jenny. You need to teach me what love is.
Well, like
Jenny.
the dumb guy is going around, thinking a smart guy would say that he knows what love is.
Right.
But that's not actually true. A
Right.
smart guy, even though he believes he knows what love is, he's going to tell people he doesn't know.
He's going to sandbag on the question of love.
Yep.
Yeah, that is actually that's like an 80 IQ move.
Caleb,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear.
Okay. I actually I wrote my TED Talk out. So
This is
it's
the whole
not,
thing.
It's not going to be that long.
Good.
But hopefully, we'll see. We got to get through it though. Let's get started.
All right, let's get started.
Okay, so when I was thinking of my topic, I thought, what's something I know a lot about that is rarely discussed and maybe people don't really understand. And so my subject is how to annoy your older sister. This is a subject
that's good.
You will not. This is so near and dear to my heart.
Best.
Yeah. How?
I just.
Right. Good point.
There's nothing better than annoying. It's my favorite thing is annoying people.
Actually,
I love it so
okay,
much.
yeah.
But you can't annoy your older sister.
I can't.
Impossible.
But no, that's absolutely impossible. But just the basic idea here.
Yeah.
I am so on board. I wish I had thought of this.
Okay, so this is the part of the thing is it starts off in childhood, of course. And the power dynamic is pretty different in childhood. Your older sister is bigger than you, stronger than you, so you have to use different techniques to annoy her.
Right.
And most of this is going to be low-hanging fruit, like repeating whatever they say, right? Reading over their shoulder and breathing very heavily, right?
I think if you've recently had a big glass of milk,
Yeah.
or
you
and
wanna
maybe
drink-
some tuna fish.
Drink something kind of gross, and then go read over their shoulder. And then shouting their secrets is another. Any kind of secret you might hear of theirs, you want to go shout it around the house.
You have to be kind of careful with that one because if you do that too, you want to kind of collect secrets for a while because once you start revealing them
in childhood, you want to as soon as you hear that secret, you
really?
actually just start shouting it.
Okay, so these are maybe things that you're observing her do that she's not aware.
Maybe
or
information you've gleaned by standing. I mean, that's the other thing is stand outside her door to her room. Just do
if
that.
she's on the phone, especially,
Yeah.
you can hear her side of the conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are like low-hanging fruits. That's what everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
And some of this may be up for discussion, but
I want to. Sorry, I do not want to derail you at all, but I do want to say that I can think of you're creating here a situation where it's sort of tangible things that are really annoying and that are like exploiting facts and things like that. But I at least maybe at the end here, I would like to throw in something where, because you were so brilliant at this that sometimes that you could kind of do it with nothing. Like you could use just nothing.
This is where it's headed. So then we move on. That's the low-hanging fruit. Right, and you're doing this partially because you cannot withstand any of her physical abuse because she's so much bigger than you. And so you're just kind of doing these things to get what you can get away with, right? So then it moves on to artistry, which is, and this humor is important here, okay? Because we are, it has to be annoying. Has to be something that it is. Frustrating, but then you also the real like impact of annoyance is it's something that's frustrating or annoying, but then you kind of think it's funny or like it, but then that annoys you even more because of where it's coming from.
Yes.
So it compounds the annoyance, and that's what you're really kind of going for.
Yeah.
And so what you can start doing is you can do a single annoying sound is part of the artistry. You know, maybe that's low-hanging fruit. Someone might stumble on that early. An annoying expression, just your sister looks away and you change your face, and then she looks back, and it's just so annoying to see someone with that face looking at you. And then another, maybe the furthest part of artistry, the artistry of annoyance is annoying posture. Just a way that you're holding your body that makes your sister mad. And that's, you know, that's getting into the finer details there, you know. And part of all of this is what you're doing is you're establishing patterns.
Right.
Okay? You're establishing patterns, ways that you perceive what she's thinking, and things that you can come back to later. Josh?
Well, all I was going to say was this is so essential. If you do something and she has a reaction, you need to note and a negative reaction.
Yes.
You need to note that down.
Yes.
It's sort of like you're developing a language.
Right.
And there's like the Rosetta Stone of, you know,
Right.
translation, you know, is her reaction. You're doing something, there's like an input,
Yep.
and then there's a response,
And maybe
you can sort of flesh out, okay,
maybe for the young men, that's what we're talking about. I don't know how women annoy other women. I mean, I know, but I don't know the details
we know that
of
it
how
happens.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for young men, it might be more conducive to think of this as like a Mortal Kombat combo, some
That's
kind of different arrangement of postures, facial
Yeah.
expressions,
Yeah.
and sounds that you can do. That you do this one, you get no
Yes.
reaction, but you switch to this one,
Yes.
and then you go to this one,
Yeah.
and boy, what a reaction
And
you
it's
get.
it's like
Yep.
4 to 8 buttons
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you push each
You have to
button
do
and
them
it
in the
does
right
one thing,
sequence,
but then
yeah.
you do one while you're holding the other button and
Right.
it changes the effect. And
Yeah.
you know, like
you're leaning on
create-
a counter, and you have your butt like really kind of like
Sticking
out.
like prominent
Yes.
there, and then you make some kind of sound like ooh or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. You know, initially she sees you with your butt out and she ignores you, but then you go ooh,
Yeah, yeah.
and now she
can't. She has
deal
to
with
pay
it. Yeah,
attention.
she
Yeah.
has to pay attention because she wants you to stop doing that.
Right.
You know, but that's the other thing is persistence.
And why
right? In each of these things, sometimes don't change. Just do the same thing.
Yes.
And keep doing it.
And you might be
Yeah.
curious like why she wants you to stop doing that, but that's actually not important. It's just that you know she will want you to stop doing that.
Right.
You don't have to understand her motivations for wanting that to end or what like why is it annoying? I mean, it is. It is certainly
Some of the
annoying
best
thing.
some of the best combos are pressing the same button.
Button mashing.
I've won
Yes.
lots
Yeah.
of Tekken 2 matches
You just
by
keep
doing
them
that.
down on the ground or up in the air.
Yep.
Either one.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay. Let's see here. So yeah, that's artistry, but then this is going to kind of shift because then you're going to go into adulthood, and this is going to be a phase in which there's a transfer of physical power.
Right.
You are going to become stronger, physically stronger than your sister, and this is when you have to be careful. Annoying is not bullying. You're not bullying, right? You don't just want to be domineering. And the part of the thing with annoyance is it's not really to any end except to frustrate the person.
Right.
You can't be trying to manipulate someone into doing something a certain way. I don't think. This happens. It happens where because you don't get to watch your movie, you then annoy your sister. I understand that. But but the pure essence of annoyance is that they are confused about why you are even doing it. If
Yeah.
they have if there's a clear reason, then it makes them just angry.
Right.
But when it seems like it's just coming out of the blue,
Right. The
You know?
purity of this is so important.
It's a very
I think
important
so.
aspect.
You don't want to. ideally you don't want to conflate it. I understand in moments of weakness we're going to do these things, but yeah, if you're just trying to annoy her, this is the right way. So once the transfer of physical power has happened, what you're going to want to do is draw on those old patterns that you've established. And so now you don't even have to do a full series of combos or things like that. You just kind of have to hint at them. Right. And all of that cloud of ideas is going to rush back into her head. Yeah. And she's going to remember those things that you've done in the past that annoy her.
It's like Anton Ego in Ratatouille when he eats the ratatouille at the end.
Yeah.
But it's kind of it's bad.
Right.
It's
the bad version of Ratatouille.
It's Batatouille.
Yeah, Batatouille. Yep. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean you don't ever repeat those old patterns or take on, do an annoying posture with an annoying sound. For her to have seen you do that when you are a 10-year-old boy, and then later on in life at a family dinner to come upon her, you're a 30-year-old man who has children, and you do that same thing. That's gonna pack a wallop, and you can't do it all the time because then it just demeans you. Yeah. But you want to slip back into that sometimes just to remind her about what you can do.
That's a KO. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You've taken no damage.
No damage. Yeah, and it's come out of nowhere. So and continue developing artistry, but you can even do some of the low-hanging fruit stuff. Like, it's going to be surprising if you're in a situation where your sister is reading. You spend less time with each other, so you like to make it quality time, but then you're going to come up with milky breath and do that, read over her shoulder. And okay, so we're doing all this, but the real end result, the pinnacle here, in my opinion, is to recall established patterns with a single knowing look. Right? So your sister does something or says something, and all you have to do is kind of look at her, and it recalls this huge host of events and attitudes and perspectives that you have established through this long time life pursuit.
It's something that you can only do if you have truly manipulated her through Pavlovian response for years.
Yeah.
For actual years. So this is a long game.
Mm-hmm.
Very long game.
You don't know how long it is when you start.
You have no idea. And this is why you have to be vigilant, even, from a very early age. You have to start taking notice. You have to notice when you're standing next to your sister in Walmart and you drink you drink some of your 20-ounce Coke. You have to notice when she looks at you with disgust and says, "You sound like a frog when you drink." And you have to contemplate, what does that mean to sound like a frog whilst drinking?
Right.
How do you know what a frog sounds like when it drinks? But now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know that simply imbibing in a beverage in your proximity is enough to set you off.
This is such a strong tactical error.
Yeah,
right.
You need to lock it away.
This is the point. Also, is it's kind of like a judo move with your sister is going to say things to you that are meant to hurt you sometimes to put you in your place, and now you can. But now you know what they do.
Yes,
and you can use those.
Yes.
It's Aikido. You're going to use their own weight against them.
Right.
And you also have to understand that now every time I drink. Do I think about her saying that? Yes, I do. I think about it basically every time I take a drink when the big frog gulp goes down, I guess. But I've already gotten back at her for that. Yeah. So I'm dealing with this trauma for the rest of my life, but she's got her own stuff that she's got to deal with.
The ideal response, in my opinion, is I like the knowing look. That is the pinnacle when you kind of have that power. But I do, just for myself, I like to do the artistry side. That's kind of where I like to live. Yeah, is right in this domain of doing these certain things, because what you want to elicit from your sister, your older sister, is you want to see her face get red with anger, but then she's kind of laughing.
Yes,
that's the ideal thing, because she doesn't know now. She doesn't know what to do because it's funny, but she's annoyed that it's funny. That's
and she's truly broken, and you have completely dominated
absolute.
her.
Yep. It is, absolute cinema, to use an internet phrase, to say something and then watch your sister shake her head with again, disgust, disdain, there's all sorts of negative emotions going on, but she cannot conceal the laughter that is overflowing from her heart. And that is just where you want to be.
Sometimes, I will say, sometimes the best response is you're not going to see her face or hear her laughing, but she's just going to have to leave the room completely. Yeah. And that's that's
the Nobel Prize
and
of annoying your sister.
And then you make sure that maybe this is one of those minds, this kind of like button mashing times where you just kind of stay there in that posture with your butt out and you say, ooh. And then she comes back in thinking that it's over, and it is not.
Right. No, it's not over. Yeah. It's never over.
No, it's not over.
It's a lifetime pursuit, as you said earlier, which I think is...
Really, that's my TED Talk.
That's it.
That's great. Hope that helps a lot. Were we saying... I felt like I was saying maybe Jason or Jordan.
We were kind of using a slurry of all those J names,
Justin...
So it's Justin.
We really appreciate the questions. Thank you so much. If you'd like us to treat your questions this way, folks, you can send them to advancedansweringtechniques@gmail.com. We're looking for an audio, not an audio file, but an audio file about a minute in length. Send those in. We'd love to answer them. Anything else we need to deal with?
Yeah, I have a vignette. Can I share a vignette with you?
I'm realizing that I forgot to promote my Substack.
And
I feel like this might be part of it.
In this vignette, standing in the kitchen with a bag of pretzel sticks and no sign of self-control. Check out Caleb and Josh's Substacks. Caleb's is cgrams.substack.com. That's cgrahams.substack.com. Josh's is stervenson.substack.com. That's stervenson.substack.com. Read them, subscribe, pledge.
Read them and weep.
Read them and weep.
Read them and weep.
That's what I've got.
I don't have anything.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.